Everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamer Dad channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today we're going to have a short conversation on exotics. Some people are, in a sense, starting the division in terms of endgame. And when I say new players in the division, sometimes I guess that can get misconstrued with somebody who's starting from level 1. But if you kind of think about it, if you start the game from level 1 through level 30, you're still a new player. I mean, even if you boost your character and you've played only from level 30 to 40, you're still a new player, and that's just only based on the amount of hours you've, pretty much put in the game. It will take a lot more time for you to be able to get a character to where the character has, I think, if not something close to the max power strength or power level, whatever you want to call it. I mean, case in point, I have another character on PlayStation where I play with my clan, and even with all of the, assists, like giving me exotics that I didn't have to grind seasons for and all of that, that character is still not as strong as this character that I've been building for so many months and even years now. So there is always that difference in terms of the amount of time you spend, because there are just so many things you need to collect as you're going through this game. Now, today I wanted to go ahead and discuss quickly about exotics. And this is not exotic weapons, but exotic gear. Because exotic gear is actually quite powerful in a division game. Each piece is made to handle a specific task, and it does it very well. But here's something that usually happens, and that what usually happens is, without this exotic gear, it's kind of in a weird place for new players who may be coming in and watching, videos about making builds, about, how they can get their character to be a lot more powerful. And they see these build videos that everyone is talking about. Oh yeah, I have this pestilence, or I have a capacitor, or, I have a, what's the name of the really, really wonderful backpack, the Memento backpack, and all of these things. And it can get really overwhelming in a sense for a lot of players. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, you can still make effective builds without even using these items, because even for the most part, I myself, most of my, signature builds don't even use a lot of exotic gear. And the ones that do, they're kind of weird because not a lot of people even run them. And the items that I use to actually make those builds are actually much easier to come by. And so I think that's actually something that a lot of players have to really recognize, is exactly, how the builds can be, put together based on the different brand sets without having to feel that weight or feel that inadequacy that they are, in a sense behind because they don't own some of these exotic gear pieces. The ultimate goal of a game like The Division is that eventually, you're able to acquire these items, and that's just basically the ultimate goal. There's nothing crazy about all of this stuff. So let me show you guys one of my really, really old builds that I used to use a real long time ago. And, it's a really weird build. It's, well, I say really, really old, but it's not necessarily too old. But this is a build based on you not having to do too much stress. And yes, even when I show you the build, you're going to be like, well, what's this one item? I don't think I can get my hands on it. Well, now you don't need to, because the developers kind of recognized the creeping skill gap or the creeping progression gap that would eventually ensue if people couldn't get items. So this build, I use the Hanamura, gear system. I use two pieces of it. I use the Empress International items, and I use a Wyvern chest piece. Now, to be very honest, all I did with this build was I changed the Empress pieces from Murakami. I used to use the Murakami gear system, but when the Empress International pieces were released, they seemed to be doing a better job. Not like they seemed, they actually were geared to do a better job to help you be a better skill player. So that's why I'm using them. So Empress International, you can get from anywhere in the game that, you're seeing Empress drop on the map. You can use targeted loot to kind of track and see where Empress is dropping. That's one way to go about it. So it's not anything complex. And if you can't get Empress to drop, you can go for Murakami. There's no problem with that. Like now on the map today, Empress isn't dropping, but that doesn't mean when you get when everything cycles back, you're not going to be able to acquire some Empress pieces. And if at any rate you say you want Murakami, Murakami is also going to give you a little bit of what Empress can do in terms of skill, skill damage and all of the others. And so that's why you see pretty much the build that I just showed you. And then with the Hanamura Mask, I basically was able to just farm it from a Hanayu location. I don't know if it's from the Dark Zone or whatever, but I went ahead and just put this, and I have armor regen. I used to play legendary missions with, you know, random matchmade groups with this, and it's nice for me to have my skills, and if I get hit, I can be in cover, and if I don't have a med kit, just that little armor regen is actually decent. I could have used like skill haste or whatever, but hey, again, this is how I got the mask. So I rolled my skill damage on it and I just went with it. It's not even the most perfect build. And then I have a Hanamura Backpack called the Force Multiplier. And granted, this has the perfect combined arms, but again, you don't necessarily need the perfect talent because combined arms itself is only a 5% difference from the perfect combined arms. Now, it's nice, I get it, but again, it is what it is. And then I got a weird one that rolled armor regen. I don't know why a lot of them were rolling armor regen at the time. And then this is one of my prized possessions. It's my Wyvern chest piece that came with glass cannon, and I just rolled skill damage on it. I've not been able to get a Wyvern chest piece like this ever again. I think I had this the moment we got past Warlords of New York. But again, you can get a Wyvern chest piece if Wyvern is dropping, and you can, you know, hopefully find one with skill damage and get glass cannon on there. If it's a talent that you want to use, you can use whatever talent. I just use glass cannon because it does a lot of damage in this particular scenario. So there really isn't nothing too special in terms of the gear items. And then now here's the one that might kind of cause a little bit of stress, and this is the Harmony. Now this particular rifle has the perfectly in sync talent, but here's the thing: they found out that because this was a Dark Zone exclusive, a lot of people can get their hands on it. It was a DZ exclusive where you get it from a DZ cache or some reward cache. I think that's how I got mine, and since then I think I've not necessarily been able to get another one drop from me. I think I bought another one from the DZ vendor. But you have the test subject. The test subject has the same talent, which was really strange that they went ahead and brought out another named assault rifle with the talent that would do the same thing that the Harmony was doing. And so you could basically use this weapon and gain the same effects. Now, granted, the Harmony being a rifle does more base damage, but honestly, having run both of them, I don't necessarily see where I can say, okay, this one is, you know, by all means better, because your build could also influence what weapon you want. So you have that option as well. So the reason I made this video is to make sure that someone's not getting discouraged, you know, that someone's not looking at these build videos and going, oh my goodness, I wish I could get these pieces or whatever, but instead you're just focusing on understanding how your synergies work, so that eventually when you get these pieces, you can use them even to your own taste and even better. But these are just my thoughts about all of this. I'd love to hear the thoughts of veterans in the comment section. How do you advise that a new player, and when I say new player, I'm talking about you just showed up in level 30 or level 40. How do you advise a new player to go about using build synergies? And if you're new, basically talk about your challenges and, what are some of the things that's stopping you from putting together a coherent build? Is it because you don't know? Is it because you're not lucky with your RNG? Is it because, the targeted loot system, you don't necessarily understand how you would efficiently get more items? There are a lot of videos that are like that, and I'm sure people will be happy to share some tips as well with you. All right, that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching the video. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. Hopefully we'll talk soon. Peace out.